We're
Oh my God. I have missed you so much.
Oh my goodness. I was just like, I'm just vibrating.
Yes.
And stuttering. I'm just vibrating. I'm
Yes.
so excited to be back ranting with Dr. Jay-Z.
Here we are.
And having this beautiful experience together. I'm clicking all of these shares. I'm getting it out into the world. Look at New Thought, Unity.
Love that.
Let's just get this shared.
Spread that good. Spread that good. Audrey, let's rant.
Let's rant. So this is the Rant, Radically Affirmative New Thought, where Dr. Jay-Z and the Saint have conversations consciously about things that are needing to be discussed, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever wants to come up. We're looking for our beautiful audience to give us some ideas about what to rant about all the time. So if you've got something you want to rant about, that we haven't already ranted about, let us know in the comments.
Well, here's the thing. If we have already ranted about it, it may be a consideration that if somebody's asking about it again, there's more clarity that's required. So
maybe that's true. That is true. Absolutely. Yeah. We can always dive deeper. And our beautiful waste management trucks are going by. So my puppy, who's sitting right over there, doesn't like when that happens. So if you're watching, let us know you're watching in the comments, and for sure help us get this out into the world, because the world needs some radically affirmative new thought, I think. So click that share button. If you're watching on YouTube, thumbs up. If you're on Facebook, hearts. We love those hearts. Give us those hearts. We love them.
Yeah.
And so here we are. I'm talking to Dr. Jay-Z.
And I'm talking to Saint Steph.
And we're here to rant with you.
That's right. So Saint Steph.
Yes, my love.
Who are you?
Oh, well, I am Reverend Steph St. Amand. I am the spiritual director for One Love Awakening, and we are a heart-centered online community that rallies around the concept and the construct of radical love and self-acceptance. So we inspire each other and ourselves to continue this beautiful path of spiritual living. And who are you?
Oh, I'm Dr. Jonathan Zenz. I am the senior minister at Unity of Tucson, which is a beautiful spiritual center here in Tucson, Arizona, where our purpose is to provide the teachings, the enlightened teachings of the New Thought philosophy in order that we may master spiritual understanding, find personal purpose, and develop a spiritual path. Nice. So that's what I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some good stuff. Yes.
Indeed.
So we've got Jerry's here. Oh,
yeah. I said that you should be in. Okay, I'll let you be in the driver's seat. I will keep my hands off of the buttons.
We both like driving. Peace and blessings. Hi, Jerry. Welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, keeping my peace during political chaos. Many opinions. Yes, there are, and it's keeping the peace. So I know that right now that's we're moving into this topic for the themes of Centers for Spiritual Living. This month, September, is about peace, falling to pieces and finding peace. And so that's a beautiful thing. Peace is so, I think that's what we're really all looking for, right? Like that inner peace. Right. We can't, I don't see peace out there if I don't have peace in here. If I'm going stir crazy up in here, the chances are there's lots going on out there.
Yeah. Well, I used last week in my Sunday message at Unity, I talked about the nature of the world being a reflection of that which is within. I mean, that's like New Thought 101. The world is a reflection of that which is within us. And so there's a Holmes quote, and I'm going to paraphrase it terribly right now, but basically Dr. Ernest Holmes said, if you want more love in your life, be more loving. If you want, peace in the world, never be the cause for anyone's lack of peace. Like, those are the things. Like, if we want the expression and experience of our environment to be something, we must embody that first and foremost. Yeah. And so it's interesting because, Audrey, I'm going to put this up again. You've characterized the experience as political chaos. And I just want you to know that's not what I'm experiencing. I'm not experiencing political chaos. I'm experiencing the free flow of perfection. This because it's my decision to experience it this way. I'm experiencing the free flow of perfection, and I do not let myself veer off of that course. I have been saying for a long time that this is worldwide. This is not just the United States. This is not just, the challenges that are happening in wars across the world. It's like, it is literally like the whole world.
Yeah.
I think that we have been, as a species, on an upward trajectory of realization, of opening up, of understanding. What happens when that's unfolding is that we are faced with the shadow that has been playing that we have not been able to see. So we've been experiencing the shadow, right? Very Jungian, but we've been experiencing the shadow. But the great news is when we experience the shadow, we are empowered then to address it, to do something about it, because we don't see it until we see it. We don't understand the shadow until we understand it. And so once we are made aware of the shadow at play, we are empowered to do something about it. And whose responsibility is it to shine the light, to dissipate the shadow? Each and every one of us. And so I don't let myself be moved adversely. I mean, to the best of my ability. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying I have mastered this. I'm working on it. But do not let myself be moved adversely by stuff in the world of form in that way any longer.
Well, and that's just it. We are all a work in progress, because we were born perfect. We were born in the reflection and emanation of that which is perfection, a divine, infallible presence. And so we have that in us, and we are that. And then every single day we start telling ourselves different stories about our lack of perfection. Right. And so in that beautiful place of peace that is within me, it is first in the infinite presence. The presence of divine substance and source is at peace. It is never in chaos. It is never constructing or deconstructing itself. It is only in the flow of its own being. And we get to be in that. I finding peace inside of myself. This is the only journey. It's the only journey. And we are all on that same journey. Whatever it is, that thing is that you're looking for: love, peace, joy, abundance, prosperity. All of it is already right where you are, right where you are. And we get to decide with this magnificent mind of ours, how we show up, what even is triggering us. Oh, right? Oh, we're choosing our triggers. Oh, goodness.
Well, and that's the thing. No one installed those triggers.
That's right.
No one else installed those triggers. Those triggers were installed by us.
Yeah.
We allow ourselves to be triggered by things. Yeah. And it's a decision. It all boils down to decision.
Because I truly believe, I absolutely 100% have faith in this statement. Every single one of us is doing the best that we can. And like Maya Angelou said, when we know better, we do better. And so if I see myself as not doing better, it means I haven't learned to do better yet. I'm exactly where I need to be in the stuff of it. In the stuff of it. I mean, some of my community know right now what I'm experiencing in my life. And it's not political chaos. It's a fractured, dislocated coccyx. And what my severe, on a scale of 10, I have a 12 pain threshold these days throughout the day. It's not constant. But what it has done for me is helped me be more compassionate to other people who I know are in physical pain. Yeah. What I'm doing in my own mind to help the process of healing. Thank goodness I know these tools of prayer, these tools of meditation, these tools that help me move forward, right? These are beautiful things. And so using all of that, not taking this healing journey for granted, being in the pain and knowing it is for my highest and greatest good, because it cannot be for any other thing. And so anything that is in our lives out there, it is for the highest and greatest good of what is in here. And if we can't do it alone, that's what community's for. We're both community leaders, right? We're both people out front. And so we're here creating community, because I know I didn't get this far in this journey by myself.
Right.
I had Ernest Holmes.
Yeah. Well, I had Ernest Holmes. I had Raymond Charles Barker. I had Eric Butterworth. I had the Fillmores. I had, But you mentioned that notion of community, and I think it's an important thing to really consider as well, because I was talking to somebody, was it just yesterday? I think it was. The days mush together sometimes. But I was talking to somebody about the challenges that we face as a community sometimes. And what I mean by that is there are factions of us who want to be so independent, we forget that there is a reliance upon each other. And I'm like, if you want to be truly independent, does that mean that you are now going to go out and grow your own crops? Or are you going to allow yourself to be supported by farmers? Because we can't. Here's the thing. We all have the capacity. We are all enabled to be fully 100% independent. But for me, that sounds like a really lonely life. And so I want to be interdependent. I want to revel in and experience the interdependence. None of us is in this alone. We don't need to be in this alone.
Yeah.
And so I celebrate that. Community is really important to me. Really important to me. In fact, I always say, when it comes to spiritual centers or churches or whatever you choose to call the place that people go for spiritual considerations, I was about to say worship. I like to say worthship, to recognize your own worth in the experience of spirituality. Mostly people are not going for the spiritual philosophy or for the theology. They are going to be with community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes they've got great music too.
That's true.
Yeah. So I see this. Post-traumatic stress disorder is difficult to handle, needs a lot of therapy. Yes. And, like each journey has that, has its unique experience. And so I've handled post-traumatic stress in the way I've handled it. And I absolutely honor those who seek out therapy. I think therapy is a beautiful addition to a radically spiritual life, if that is what is required for your wholeness to return to you, right? It's because you're not separate from that wholeness, but we forget we are whole. And so whatever path leads you to that, right? My chiropractor, I chose, that one of the first things she said to me was, let's get you back to wholeness. And I was like, oh, did I find the right person to be in my healing journey? Right. And so there's always these beautiful signs or signposts in our lives to help us find the right community, find the right therapist, find the right therapy, because it's not all the same. And I do recognize, in community, when we especially are just beginning our journey in community, we're bringing all of our baggage with us. We're bringing all of our trauma with us. And so if we aren't there to first learn how to care for our trauma for ourselves, we sometimes accidentally bleed all over everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And create more of that stuff. So we have to find out what it is we want in our life. For me, it's definitely peace. Peace is something that is really relevant in my life.
Yeah.
And I seek it out. I pray on it. I meditate on it, and I contemplate that experience. And so we really need to find, as a unique and unrepeatable expression, what it is for you. What is your thing? And allow that to just be the focus. Find who you are and focus on that, because everything else will chip away.
I've been sitting here like thinking, do I say this out loud? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
And I want to preface this by saying this is not, I don't intend for this to be a statement of disrespect. It may be taken as a statement of disrespect. One thing that I'm consciously aware of frequently is the language that we use to describe the journeys we go through. And in this phrase from Jackie, the question that I would ask is, I'm going to put this back up. PTSD is difficult to handle, needs a lot of therapy. Here's the question I want to ask. What if that were not true? What if it was something that you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt was easily handleable and did not require a lot of therapy? That's the first question. What if that was not true? Second question is, where did we learn that? Where did we learn that it inevitably has to be difficult to handle and require a lot of therapy? And it's just questions to consider. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. And we're going to have the experience that we're going to have around the experiences that were happening. I do hold that the statistics support the idea that PTSD requires a lot of therapy and is difficult to handle. I live within that construct. So I ask myself, what if that were not true? What if something else were true in addressing the PTSD that might be present in my life? I don't know. It's something that it's.
Well, it's the work like by Byron Katie, right? It's like, is this true?
Is this true? Is this really true?
And that's, the thing. Even I'm leaning into your your thinking here. Like, even what we believe caused the trauma, is that true?
Right. So I don't know if you remember, there was a conference. I want to say it was, I think, the 2009 Centers for Spiritual Living conference in San Diego.
I was just finding this teaching.
So I believe at that conference, so Byron Katie was a keynote at that conference.
Oh, wow.
And she was explaining the work. And it was so fascinating because about half of the attendees left that session because it was so challenging for them to hear that very notion, which is why I say, my comment on Jackie's comment, like I said, I don't want it to feel disrespectful because we're all having the journey that we're having. We're all going through the journey. We're growing through the journey that we are growing through. And PTSD statistically is a challenge, right? Yeah. And I just think I think if we could start to open up to the idea of asking ourselves the question, is that true? Maybe it's not. Maybe we can collectively, and this is the thing, if we collectively decided that there was another idea, I think we could change the tone and the tenor of the entire experience of PTSD. I'm not a
like Marianne Williams said, prayer can change the world. So, again, we go back to that. Where are we focusing our attention? Are we focusing it on the healing or on the challenge?
Right.
I had a beautiful conversation with a community member a couple of weeks ago, and she just kept saying a word, and she's like, you know what? I'm going to stop saying that. She was using issue or challenge or hardship. She was using that. And she's like, I have a new project. And I was like, what a great way of thinking about something you're working on in yourself. I'm working on a new project.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's great. I'm totally using that. And that line is perfect for so many things, right? Like, what if it's not true?
Yeah.
Because my first night, Jonathan and I have talked about this. My first night in ministerial studies class, my teacher said to me, ministry is hard. It's like being pulled through cheesecloth. And so therefore, that was implanted in my mind. And for the first 6 years of my ministry, until I decided something different for myself, it was hard. It felt like I was being pulled through cheesecloth. And that doesn't have to be true. What you're called to do, you already have all the skills inside of you. Yeah. What you are called to do, you already have all the brilliance, the creativity, the wisdom. What you are called to do is already within you, programmed perfectly. And so we turn off all of those outside voices that say things might be hard or difficult, because if it's yours to do, you're already on the right path, beloved. You're already moving forward in the way you are required to. You're already exactly where you need to be. Like Amy Steinberg's song, I'm exactly
where I need to be.
Yeah, I'm exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am.
I am a vision manifest. Love that.
Yes.
We should invite Amy to rant with us one day.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I bet she'd be in for it. Yes.
I got her. Oh, and she's Reverend Amy Steinberg now.
She is Reverend Amy Steinberg now. Yes.
Grateful for her path.
Audrey is saying in PTSD, does the person re-experience the fear get experience?
So we're talking about secondary causation there, right? There is a possibility. And I think that's the thing. So okay. I'm going to be critical of therapeutic practices for just a moment as well. Here's the thing.
Let's rant.
I have a belief. This is my belief. And as I say every Sunday, you get to decide what you believe. I'm just here to, my belief is that therapy is only as good as the therapy is. And that is, if therapy is moving you through the experience and there is something on the other side of it, then I think it's good. I have had the experience of therapy where the work that I've been doing has just been keeping me replaying the muck, and I keep reliving the muck in my life.
Yeah.
So I think so if you're in therapy, if you're in a therapeutic situation for anything, open up in an awareness to see, is it keeping me held back in the muck, or am I actually making progress forward? And if you're not making progress forward, I don't often give advice, but I'm going to give advice. Find someone new to work with. Because if you're not moving through it, you're going to be stuck in it, or even sometimes we may be devolving ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
It always conversations like this, like especially the re-experiencing, right? The past is gone. It does not exist. The only place it exists is in our own minds. And it always reminds me of the first episode of Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, where Cisco is he's in conflict. He's talking to these higher beings who don't have a linear experience of life. They are omnipresent and omniscient. And so he's having this conversation, and they're inside his mind. And he says, like, why do you keep showing me? This is the worst day of my life. Why do you keep showing me this? And they say, we're not showing you this. You keep living here. Why, if this isn't what you want to experience, why are you living here? And that's how the only way we can move forward in our lives is if we stop replaying what doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. Right? All of my trauma in my life, it's back there. It's not in today. Anna Green Gables. Anna Green Gables, one of the most prolific, famous books in Canada. Yeah. Canada's history. Yeah. Right? The teacher says to Anne, today is a brand new baby day. Yeah. There's no mistakes in it. Yeah. Today, there's no trauma in this day unless we create it again and again.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's hard for us when we are in our trauma to hear that.
Yeah,
it is. And there is trauma happening for people.
And here's what I want to say about that. Every single person, I believe every single person is equipped fully, wholly to let go of those moorings of the past. And you don't need to believe anything I say. You don't need to believe, but if you're not going to believe something I say, check in on the beliefs that you've taken on from other people, because there are a lot of people out there who are going to say, oh, those past things, they're informing your present. They're informing your present. Well, they are, as long as you continue to allow them to inform your present. And perhaps the information, the way that your present is being informed, can be turned around 180 degrees. So for instance, if a past idea that I find to be challenging is informing my present and creating more challenge, what do they say? If we are not willing to learn from history, we will repeat it. So I can look at that history and say, the past challenge is something I do not need to experience any longer. I'm turn it around 180 degrees. That past is still a part of my awareness, but I don't need to let it inform how I choose to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And awareness is the point, right? Awareness, who was it that said, was it Holmes? Awareness is the destination.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Awareness is the destination to when we are aware. And just a reminder to everyone who's watching, who might even be triggered by this conversation, we are not suggesting in any way spiritual bypass.
No.
Jonathan and I will never recommend that. Because we've both already expressed, you got to feel it to heal it. Right? So it's not about that. And if you are in the grief from something significant, we're not saying don't feel. No. We're saying be open and willing to move through it and not plant things there to keep growing. Grief is a huge process that looks different for everybody. And often it's misinterpreted, right? There is, because I didn't know, like I thought grief was just if I lost somebody who transitioned, and that gives me the right to grieve now. I can grieve now. But you can grieve the loss of your old self. You can, like, there's all of these experiences. Right. So we're not saying don't feel it. We're saying don't set up camp. Don't be open and willing to know a greater truth, to change your thoughts and beliefs. How many thoughts and beliefs I've had to change to learn how to love myself, right? All those stories we have to go through and just keep flipping through those pages. Next chapter. Yeah.
Grief is one of those things that we as ministers are faced with a lot of people in communities that we serve, right? Grief is first of all, grief is a universal human experience.
Yeah.
Let's understand that at some point or another, every single one of us will experience grief.
Yeah.
And usually when I'm working with people, one of the first things I will talk to them about is to say, listen, let's reframe grief first. What grief is it is the overwhelming feeling of love that has no object towards which it can be directed. That's what grief is. And so for many of us, we most profoundly experience grief when we have lost someone who's made their transition. That's usually like what most people consider to be that definition. But it is like whatever grief can be the outflow of anything in our lives. We can have the experience of grief through the outflow of anything in our lives. And the other thing is there was a great, I saw this graphic at one point, and it was a great reminder. And I use this all the time now because most people are saying, I need to diminish, I need to like squash the grief down, I need to like let it. And what this graphic showed is it showed like a ball within a jar, and the ball basically filled the jar, and the ball was grief. It was titled grief, and the jar was around it was like, this is you. And so the ball feels really big within that jar, right? And it wasn't, and it says, it's not about trying to diminish the ball, it's about growing the container. And that's how we gracefully grow through grief, is by growing our own container.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, Audrey said, right on, 2 wise ranters. Thanks, Audrey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And again, that's why we do this together. I had a grief sponsor. Like, it was someone who helped me know what it even was, because I didn't know what to call it. It felt like anger a lot of the time, right? It comes up in so many different ways. And I love that. Just growing our container is a good metaphor.
Yeah. Because the grief will not dissipate, but we can grow around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that we did say we were going to go longer. But we always seem to have like a really great conversation in 30 minutes.
It's like, I've been telling everybody all week on my mindful moment, like, we're moving to an hour. So
yeah. So any other questions? Any other thoughts? Like, we're here. We've got let's see, it's still summer hours, right? So we are light on the folks, but
we're also going into a holiday weekend.
Yes. Long weekend for most people. I'm looking forward to starting Wake Up, Say Thank You again. It's been off since my birthday. And so I'm really looking forward to doing that, because I recognize, and you and I, we have a daily practice. You've got mindful moment, Wake Up, Say Thank You. And but daily, consistent spiritual practice, that's like how we get through everything. That's how we get through everything, you guys. All the trauma, all the grief, all the stress, whatever we're doing, if you're not turning to spiritual practice first, we're gonna that's where we start. It's not a safety net, it's a steering wheel.
Right.
And so I just recognize that all month I'm like, wow, my prayer practice is so on point when I am doing it with other people.
Yeah. So you've just sparked something for me that I do want to talk about, which is, so first of all, on my mindful moment, every single time I start off by saying the experience of a consistent spiritual practice has enhanced the quality of my life. And isn't that what it's all about? We're all looking to enhance the quality of our lives, right?
Yeah.
Consistent spiritual practice has done that for me. And so that's why I share what I share. What I was jumping out of my seat about, though, is this. And when I've taught practitioner classes, so there's a form of advanced teaching in Centers for Spiritual Living and in the religious science movement to train licensed practitioners, and they are licensed to work with people. And so that's something that I used to do. There's not the same kind of paradigm in Unity. And if you don't know, I was previously a Centers for Spiritual Living or religious science minister. I'm ordained in that tradition, but I am also ordained in Unity. So there we are. I think everybody on the rant knows who I am. So I'm just repeating myself. But one of the things that I used to always talk to my practitioners about, and in the first year of training, it is all about our own lives. It's not about working with other people. It's about getting ourselves on the track and on the path of a consistent spiritual practice. And one of the things I always ask them is, how are you going to retrain your reactivity in any given situation to move it from an immediacy of challenge to an immediacy of, I can handle this? That's a spiritual practice. That we are swimming in a sea of, we're swimming in a sea of receptivity, but we're swimming in a sea of consciousness, right? And everything in our lives is showing up as a direct reflection of that consciousness. I don't know how many times I say this all the time. I will say it all the time until I transition. But part of what we end up culturally doing is we are taught in our culture to be reactive in a negative way. What if our reaction was actually a positive reaction to everything that shows up? And again, this is not about going into spiritual bypass. It's not about looking at something that we might perceive as a challenge and going, it's all God, it's all good, because it might not be.
Yeah.
The fundamental truth is, yes, but do you really believe it? Or are you just giving it lip service? And so for me to have retrained my mind to be less reactive in a challenging way to moving towards being proactive in a spiritually positive way and believing it and feeling it, most importantly, is something that has truly shifted my experience. And I always encourage my practitioner students, when I have taught them, to move from that reactive state of mind. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a bumper sticker that never made it to the car. made it to a clipboard or a bulletin board. It's like, respond with love.
Yeah.
Respond with love. No matter what is before me, the universe, it's a gift in some way. And I get to unwrap it. That's mine to do. And so if to respond to it with love, like, even, people don't know they're triggering us.
No.
Unless they do. I mean, some people might, but for the most part, they don't know. They don't know that they're triggering us. They don't know that they're a big wiener jerk face. They don't know. And so we don't have to respond to them in that way. We don't have to respond in kind to their stuff. It's their stuff.
Right. Well, that's why I always say, what is your responsibility in any given situation?
Yeah.
And I do use responsibility by breaking it down. And I know that this is not the form of the word, but I don't care. I'm going to make it the form of the word the way I use it. What is my responsibility in any given situation? I am always, 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 always at choice. I can never not be at choice. Now, I may defer that choice to a gut reaction, but that's still a choice, whether I think it is or not.
Yep. Yeah. And like, if it's not easy for people right now, like if it's not easy for you, beloveds, to shift your thinking or to change your thought, like, that's the rebound time, takes time to grow and expand. And that's okay. And if you want to be better at it, there are classes we can take. There are coaches that are here for you. There are opportunities to evolve your consciousness and your ability to respond. They're out there. I mean, I love teaching. I love teaching this teaching. I love it. I love teaching this teaching. I love being in rooms and people having like giant thoughts just dropping like it's hot. Yeah. And changing the whole room. Yeah. Right. And so whatever it is you're growing through, a class is a great way to do that. And I know Dr. Jonathan has classes throughout the year. I have classes. Reverend Tammy and I do lots. Like, we do classes that are, what I love about the science of mind or religious science or new thought is that I'm not teaching people what to think. I help folks facilitate new thoughts. Right? I help people, or I teach people how to think, not what to think. That's the beauty of this this philosophy that we're in, this teaching that we're in, because it is open at the top. You have a direct line to an intelligent presence that is back of absolutely everything. You have an inseparable means to all of that good that is already before you. And we get to clear out the stuff so that that good shows up faster, easier, effortlessly, all of that good stuff.
And that's the key too. You know, I used to talk about, you know, the response time that it might take. Like, there was a time in my life where I would have a negative response to something, and I would live with that for, let's say, a full day. And that emotion, that feeling tone would then dictate the experience of my day. Right. And so as I began to, what I used to call it, narrow the gap of experience to response. And that is moving from experience. Maybe perhaps there was a reaction, but I'm moving away from that reaction, and the response time towards what is on the other side of that is lessened. And when I really moved through that, and okay, so my husband, I got to talk to my husband about this, because he's not letting me off the hook about some things. We have these moments that we call, that was a car moment. We just say to each other, that was a car moment. And I can't explain it to you other than to say, we saw this video where these two people got out of their car and they started to walk, but the car brake was not put on. And so it rolled down the hill and into a ravine or a body of water. I can't even remember what it rolled into. And they both just sort of looked at each other. They didn't get upset about it. And it was just kind of like okay, I guess that's something we're going to deal with now, right? It wasn't to get upset in the moment. So whenever I have a reactive experience that perhaps could be considered negative, he will look at me and go, that was a car moment. Like, I don't need to have that response. So we're trying to be good reminders for each other as well.
Yeah.
So we still have, we may still have those reactive moments. So number one, to move more quickly through to the response of positivity, let yourself off the hook for the reaction that you had. Let yourself off the hook. I love reminding myself to let myself off the hook. I love reminding everybody in my life, let yourself off the hook. You do not need to beat up or berate yourself for the way you reacted in the past. You are in charge. And so what is possible now? Once you let yourself off the hook, what is possible now? Reframe the experience in your own mind.
Yeah. Dolly Parton, one of my favorite quotes. I've carried this for several decades now, because the movie Straight Talk came out in the 80s, I think. It's a long time that this, and I was a kid. But she said, get down off the cross, honey. Somebody needs the wood.
Somebody needs the wood.
Right. And so who's putting you up there? Right? Who's putting you on the hook? It's the same thing. And our beautiful capacity to respond, and rebound, all of that good stuff. We get to be this. We get to be this work of art. We get to be this beautiful life. We get to. And so sometimes it looks sticky and messy, and it's okay. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. Can I move us beyond we get to?
Yeah, we are.
Perhaps we start affirming we are blessed to.
We are blessed to, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, the I get to is it's like a childlike enthusiasm of I get to go onto the playground now. Yeah. My life is blessed for sure because of all the things I get to do. Yeah. Audrey, she's got a long one here. You know what? I'm going to do it, Jonathan. Put on my glasses.
Have at it. I've done the same thing. So,
yeah. Same stuff. How can people trigger? Is it stimulus and response? If a person is triggered, isn't it their own inner work? Hope I am clearly communicating. Yeah. If a person is triggered, because the person doesn't know they're triggering you, unless they are an a-hole and they're doing it on purpose, but that's also their work and our work. It's the inner work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I always ask the question, who installed the trigger?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who installed the trigger?
Yeah. It's not anyone's fault. They pressed a button that I installed myself.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Like, and for sure, now I just like having my glasses on. For sure, work in progress. I know I'm a masterpiece. I know I'm a masterpiece, but you know how long sometimes it takes people to do a masterpiece? A lifetime. And so I'm committed to a whole lifetime of getting good at being me. And so even still, as awake as I am, as all the classes I have behind me, of all my certificates that show that I'm so brilliant and so on it, right? Just a few weeks ago, I was in an entire week of reactionary experience because I got a text message. Right? They didn't know they pressed a button. That's my work. Do I want to create more drama between me and this person? No. So here's a true fact. This is a true fact. I don't owe anybody a response. I don't owe anybody anything. And no one owes me a response. Right?
Yeah.
There's peace. Right there. We don't owe anything to anybody else. Right. We owe it to ourselves to do the work we're called to do.
Yeah.
And the only way we know it's ours to do is if it's in front of us.
Yep.
You want more peace in your life? Don't go looking. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Right? Don't go chasing the person who triggered you. Take a step back, take a breath, take 3. It's even better. Because we do not owe anyone an immediate response. We owe it to ourselves to be whatever it is that is ours to be. Yeah. So for me, it's peace. I love loving presence. I love being loving. Sometimes it's hard to do. And so I don't respond anymore instantaneously if I'm triggered, because I know that's just going to make more stuff. I don't have a shop vac. I've got a little handheld, right? So let's do the work in bite sizes that we can manage.
Yeah.
We're not changing the whole world. We're changing ourselves. I don't have to change other people's thinking. I'm blessed to change my own thinking.
Yeah.
That's it. We make everything else difficult because we're human beings thinking we're supposed to be something. We're supposed to be everything to everyone. And we don't. We just have to be present for ourselves.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. There's a joke that happens in my Sunday service now too. Like if I do service with my glasses on, right? But it's always like, if I take my glasses off, I'm making an important point.
I'm getting serious. I'm getting serious now, you guys.
Yeah.
Getting serious.
Oh.
And I just said in a room the other day, spiritual people, we take it very seriously. We are very serious people about spirituality. And it's an infinite playground.
It is. We can be lighthearted and fun. And the thing is, we can be silly.
Yeah. Joy beans everywhere. Yeah. Joy beans. Plant them everywhere. Yeah, plant them.
Just because we're spiritual does not mean that we have to be spiritual. I must be conscious and aware all of the time. Yes. And I can do that while being silly and fun.
Yeah. Intentional play. Yeah. My beautiful beloved wife and co-minister, she has sock monkeys. Like she has like monkeys to play with because you need to play. You need to play. Be like a child.
Yes.
Childlike in your wonderment.
Explore childlike wonder. That's part
stay curious.
You know,
all that good stuff.
And here's the thing about exploring your childlike wonder too. I believe that if you maintain a childlike wonder in your approach to life, people will look upon you and you will be ageless.
Yeah.
Because people always look at me and they're surprised at my age. And I'm like, you know what? I maintain childlike wonder as a primary frame of mind. I look upon life through the eyes of childlike wonder. And
yeah. There's another beautiful, I'm always just ready for a movie quote or something, right? So Hook, Robin Williams, Hook. And he's an old guy and he has lost his play and he's found himself in Neverland again. And Raphael, or one of the little kids, they're just like bombarding him with like balls and things, like play, because he has forgotten how to play. And then they do all of this stuff and he learns to be childlike again. And this little boy, he's just like, oh, there you are, Peter. Right? Play will keep us young, for sure. I know people in New Thought teachings who are in their late 90s who don't look a day over 70.
Yep. So, I know some of those people too.
So pray daily. It's good for every part of you.
Pray and play daily.
Pray and play. Yes. Pray and play daily. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We checklist, right? Did I pray today? Yep. Did I play today? Yep. Did I rest today? Yep. Yeah. All the good check marks. I love a good list of things to do.
I work well with lists. I thrive on lists.
Yeah, I love a good list. Like underneath, my laptop is on an arm, so there's stuff underneath it, and underneath it is like 4 different notebooks. Right? I've got paper everywhere, notebooks everywhere.
Yep. I finally, I had my previous notebook I filled, so I pulled this one out, which was a gift to me a few years ago that I had not put anything in, but I love this. Ready? That's the cover.
Wait.
Notebook. Keep growing.
Keep growing. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so this is the notebook that I'm using now for everything.
I'm super excited about. So we have gone almost an hour. We are doing it. We are doing it.
I didn't think we would have any trouble.
Yeah, we could probably do 3, but
we could. Yeah. We won't subject you to 3 hours.
We won't subject you to 3 hours. We'll get you to 1.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited about the things One Love Awakening there's come in. We've got the RANT is back. I'm so excited. Like I was a kid today for sure coming back into this studio. And so Monday morning, Wake Up Say Thank You is back in its regularly scheduled programming. We've got some things. So for those of you who do Monday musings with us, we've got it's a long weekend, so Peg and Thelma want to do it the second Tuesday of this month, just for September. So that's happening. And on our store, coming to a One Love shop near you, we're going to have workbooks and journals that have prompts to help you engage in conversations like this with your own being, because your mind is just as magnificent as Jonathan and I's. Absolutely. Right. So all of that good stuff. What's happening at Unity of Tucson these days?
We got all kinds of stuff. So, we're a quote unquote brick and mortar operation. But the mindful moment is back. I started back up with the mindful moment this week. And so that's at 9 a.m. on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. 9 a.m. I always have to say 9 a.m. Arizona time, because Arizona does not observe daylight savings time. So when your time changes, so will the mindful moment. But it will always be at 9 o'clock in Arizona. So that's happening. We have on Wednesday afternoons here in person, we have at 12:30 p.m. the Silent Unity prayer service. We have Celia Farron, who is a musician, self-described badass bardess, redheaded force of nature. She is she writes songs that commingle the silly and the sacred. So I love that.
Yeah.
So she's here on the 8th of September. She's going to be our musical guest at Unity that morning, but also doing a concert that afternoon at 4 p.m. That concert is co-produced by Center for Spiritual Living Tucson and Unity of Tucson.
Nice. Collaboration.
Yeah. We have World Day of Prayer coming up. The Unity World Day of Prayer is coming up. Starts September 11th in the evening and goes for a 24-hour prayer vigil right through the 12th. We have a game night. I'm telling you, we have so much fun stuff happening. We have a tacos and trivias night here at Unity of Tucson, hosted by world-renowned drag queen Tempest Du Jour.
Love it. When's that? I'm coming.
That's on September 21st. Please come join us. Pride is coming up in Tucson because we do Pride in the fall because it's too darn hot in the summer here.
Tucson is hopping.
Yeah. So we got a lot going on.
Love it. Love it. Wonderful. Well, and the great news is, everyone, tell your friends. Rant will be back next Friday because we are doing it. If you have guest ideas, if you want to see Jonathan and I rant with someone you love, let us know. And keep those topics coming because we love ranting. We do.
Yeah. You can always reach out at our email addresses, which are right there on the screen. They have been this whole time.
Write that down.
Reach out. As they used to say, reach out and touch someone.
Yeah.
In the phone book ads that they used to run.
Yeah.
Remember phone books? Those don't exist anymore.
They do. I have a phone book downstairs, Winnipeg. Yep.
Well, Canada is about 10 years behind everything in the US, I think.
I know it's holding something else up. It's never been opened because Google exists in my life.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay, beloved.
I love
you. Set? I love you. Yeah. I love this time together. I love everyone who's watching. And if you do catch this on the replay, let us know by putting that hashtag replay in so that we can come and see who's watching later in the day.
Yeah.
I know you're enjoying it. We were getting lots of great feedback, both of us, in all manners of and means of getting feedback. So
and let all your friends let your friends know that we're here every Friday, 9:30 Pacific, 11:30 Central.
Yes.
Which then I have to say, for those of us who are in Arizona, it will change for us at a point. When everybody else daylight savings time, it'll shift by an hour for us.
We'll catch up. Okay, everybody, have an awesome weekend. It's Labor Day weekend for a lot of us. A lot of us have a long weekend, but I will be starting on Monday. I'm not taking a long weekend. I just had a month of not doing wake up. So
our offices are closed on Monday, but I'm gonna be here as I often am.
Because we love what we do.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Lots of love. Mwah.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings. Oh, I gotta press buttons. There we go.